dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. Fentanyl has grabbed the attention of leaders nationally and statewide. Kentucky House Bill 353, which would decriminalize fentanyl testing strips, among other testing tools, passed through the House as the need for action grows. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked with recovery specialists about how much damage the drug has caused.
The CDC says fentanyl is 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine.
Fentanyl is not long-acting in the body, but when you take fentanyl, often the dose is not measurable, and people stop breathing, and before somebody can figure out what's going on, they're dead.
Addiction specialists have found people not knowing they have even consumed it.
Marijuana is being laced with fentanyl. Meth is being laced with fentanyl. People think they're getting a pain pill, and it's actually a fentanyl tablet. So some of the overdoses are completely unintentional from the standpoint that the people using it don't even know that they're taking fentanyl.
That is another reason the Perry County government is acting quick with opioid settlement funds. While Jailer Minor Allen says people are not necessarily getting arrested while addicted to fentanyl, some of the worst case scenarios involve the powerful drug.
Most of the time it's going to be a disastrous situation to the point where that person's not going to recover from that. There's no bringing them out of it. The ones that do are extremely blessed and lucky to still be alive.
The Kentucky Office of Drug Control Policy reported a 14.5% increase of overdose deaths from 2020 to 2021. More than 70% of those involve fentanyl. Addiction recovery specialists fear that number could only be growing. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The CDC says there are two types of fentanyl, a pharmaceutical version that is prescribed for severe pain. The other is illicitly manufactured fentanyl, which is distributed illegally and often added to other drugs. So far this legislative session, we've seen several controversial bills passed. Friday, the Kentucky Senate passed a bill that would ban drag shows on public property and anywhere minors are present. Senate Bill 115 now heads to the House. Senate Bill 47 would give Kentuckians access to medical marijuana if recommended by their doctor. That bill is on the agenda for the Senate Committee on Licensing and Occupations on Tuesday, along with the gray machine bill, which passed the House. Last week, a legislative panel unanimously passed a bill to legalize and regulate sports betting in Kentucky.
The bill before you today will put this industry in a legal and regulated status so that everyone knows what the framework is.
Lawmakers will meet through Thursday, then adjourn for a veto session before coming back on March 29th. The session ends on March 30th. West Virginia Republicans swiftly okayed a proposal to add mental health exemptions to a bill that would ban certain health care for transgender youths. The legislation would prohibit gender-altering medication and surgery to most anyone under age 18. Saturday's vote came one day after the Senate's majority leader led an effort to protect hormonal therapy for certain children with severe gender dysphoria.
There was up to a 70% reduction in suicide. I mean, that in itself should say enough, but the fact that these kids get their life back.
Which is more important, these children or how we're perceived by our voters? And the lives of these children are critical for us to protect, and this is a very narrow allowance.
The Senate's majority leader contends the legislation is about protecting children, both in prohibiting gender-altering surgery and protecting therapy for those who need it most. The bill now heads to the governor. Former Vice President Mike Pence attended the annual Gridiron Club dinner in Washington, D.C. last night. During that dinner, he cleared up his opinion about the January 6th riots and former President Donald Trump. The dinner started out with lighthearted jokes from Pence about notable Washington leaders, but he took a serious tone regarding the January 6th Capitol riots. Pence rebuked the former president for his role in the riots, saying he was wrong for claiming Pence had the authority to overturn the 2020 election results. He also said, quote, "His reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day, and I know that history will hold Donald Trump accountable." We've got an update on Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The 81-year-old Kentucky senator is being treated for a concussion after a fall. Now his office says he's expected to go home in a few days. He's recovering at the hospital, but we're told he's doing well and eager to return to work. McConnell's absence could have a huge impact on the business at the Senate. He's expected to drive the conversation on key legislation like the debt ceiling and battle over the budget. This isn't McConnell's first health scare. In 2003, the senator underwent heart surgery, and in 2019, he fractured his shoulder after a different fall.
Well, it is chilly as we close out the weekend. Temperatures right now in the upper 30s and lower 40s, but it gets even cooler as we get into early next week. Here's a live look right now over at the London Corbin Airport. Current temperature 37 degrees. We are under a cloudy sky over at the airport. Most of us right now in the upper 30s, 39 for Somerset, 36 in Pikeville, 38 for Clintwood, and 40 over in Manchester. Up on radar, most of us are quiet. Maybe a few snow flurries or sprinkles along and north of the Mountain Parkway. Places like Salyersville over to Campton and Wolfe County. We could see possibly a few snowflakes or a few sleet pellets in this portion of the region. But for most of us, we stay quiet tonight and chilly. Overnight lows falling into the middle and upper 30s, especially as we get into the Kentucky River Valley. Could see possibly some lower 30s in some places, especially in the Big Sandy. We will keep a close eye on that as well. Details on a cooler work week and some rain chances by Friday. All that and more coming up in just a little bit. Keaton.
Thank you, Cameron. Over the weekend, many people came out to the Kentucky Crafted Market in Lexington. The market features visual and craft artists in the Commonwealth, along with 2 days of live music, local publishers, and food and art activities for kids. For this year's show, there was no admission fee. Instead, the Art Council encouraged donations to the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund. We spoke to one artist who says the turnout was amazing, and it's always good to see new faces.
So many children come up and their faces light up when they see my work or anybody's work. To me, that's a promise of a future that we are aspiring for. And so events such as this, it's a great opportunity for me to sell my work, but also a wonderful opportunity for people to love art, such high quality work, which otherwise they don't have access to.
Today was the last day, so if you weren't able to make the event, you can still give back online at the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund website. Finding and securing job opportunities can be difficult for those with employment barriers such as substance abuse issues, criminal histories, or those with limited education. But thanks to the Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, Kentuckians with employment barriers now have more job opportunities through their RISE program. WYMT's Alyssa Williams checked in with one of the RISE program graduates to learn more.
Williamsburg native Samantha Walden is working her second day at the Goodwill retail store in Barberville, but her connection to Goodwill first began when she worked as a reporter, covering an event for Goodwill's RISE program.
Come to find out, a couple days after I covered it, I got laid off.
Needing to find a way to continue supporting her and her daughter, Walden decided to enroll in the RISE program herself.
I found out it was for people that not only, sure, there are participants that are in addiction and they're justice involved, but what drew to me was I have a lack of education. I did not finish college.
Walden took part in a 2-week training to gain numerous skills to help her reintegrate into the workforce.
I had also been through domestic violence. I'm a domestic violence survivor. So that was also addressed. Like, I had people that were employed as career coaches and my manager that have went through that. And so I was able to have that kind of community to help me through.
Walden was able to graduate from the program on Friday, where she has since been hired on as a cashier at the Barberville Goodwill.
She has done amazing through that program. She has got just the best people personality. She's going to go a long way. I know that I'm not looking to keep her. She's got big hopes and dreams, and I'm looking to be at least a small part of helping her get to those.
Leaning on even more than her newfound skill set.
You know, being a single mom and who has a 2-year-old, you need people to be around to help you through, and I feel like that's amazing that they're there for me. Not only that, but I have life skills that, you know, the team building and the attitude and stress management, I can carry that on for the rest of my life and help other people.
Rising up to create an even bigger and brighter future. In Knox County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Walden said she hopes to return to school in the future to eventually work in journalism again. We've got more information on Goodwill Industries of Kentucky's RISE program on our website, WYMT.com. Coming up at 11, global markets are set to open on Monday amid concern over the fallout of Silicon Valley Bank's closing.
Plus, chilly weather continues across the region tonight. We're also watching out for some snow flurries on Monday. That full forecast coming up next.